Yo. We're back.
Also,
Aggressive, yeah, very aggressive. As you see, Brandon and Alex are in a love seat today. Wink, wink.
oh, how'd you get here?
Anyway, today we're going to be doing the AFC. No, we're on to the NFC. Okay, the NFC East. Okay, with Philadelphia Eagles. You see that banner in the background. You know we're diehard Eagles fans. But we're going to dive into the quarterbacks, tight ends, and defenses in this video. So stick around toward the end because we should have a question that should be pretty decent this time around. Anybody else got anything to say?
Watch our videos.
Yeah, please do. That would be.
Hear it.
Those of you who aren't watching right now,
Can't.
I know you can tell. Just watch them all.
Yeah. All right. With that, I guess we'll say pull out some scissors and just cut to that intro real quick, buddy.
I said, baby, I am not the one to play with. Ain't the type to give up, I'm driven and motivated. I just want some recognition and some compensation. But this ain't about the money and it ain't about the fame. I got lightning in a bottle, I think I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out. Lightning in a bottle, I think I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out.
And we're back after that bloody beautiful intro. We got quarterbacks, tight ends, and defenses, and we'll start with the couple on the love seat over there. Alex, you want to go ahead?
Woo! I gotta be honest. Is there really much to talk about here? We all have the same fucking ranking.
Quarterbacks? I mean, I kind of want to get into excuse the voice crack, but I kind of want to get into the whole I hate myself narrative. You want to push that or just explain that real quick to the audience?
The reason that relates to the video or like the reason in general?
The reason that it is there.
Oh, okay. Well, because as you might notice behind me, I am kind of an Eagles fan, and I didn't. Brandon just seeing this for the first time, and I'm unhappy with the fact that I had to rank Prescott first. But I have to be mildly objective, I think. So he had to go first. That's why I hate myself. And then Wentz, technically 2, although he's 3 here. Daniel Jones would be 3 in terms of quarterbacks actually playing. And then we've got the idea of the Redskins taking Tua, because I think the idea of that is a very productive fantasy quarterback. We have Alex Smith, who is still alive. Eddie Roach, going back to the days of the Red Rocket, playing
the Red Rocket.
Yard. And then we've got the actual 4th starting quarterback in the NFC East, who is ranked 8th for some reason, Dwayne Haskins. And, I'm being a little mean to Dwayne here. I don't think he's a total bust. The Redskins have given him not a lot to work with. So if you're relying on him, you're fucked.
So just don't rely on him.
Yes.
That's the thing you should take away from
it. Waiting to the free agency to pick up your starting quarterback.
Listen, if
you kind of deserve it.
If you need like a ride or something, like a taxi, maybe Haskins will have your back. Or like if you need help moving, I'm sure he's a good friend. Not relying on him as a fantasy.
Don't call Ruggs to help you move, though.
Yeah, don't do that.
He'll cause a whole scene. He'll hurt himself.
Need to go to the hospital.
Yeah, be on crutches. Yeah, it's the whole thing.
That's a funny story. Also, can I point out, because this is more entertaining than these quarterbacks, because you have the same ranking as us at, I looked into that Sammy Watkins thing, and he did in fact tweet that he thinks he is some sort of a solar reptilian person.
Yeah.
I've seen that, yeah.
I just feel like you should be able to know that. Like, I'm in fact human. No reptile here, but yeah, Sammy Watkins, reptilian, coming to a hole in the ground near you.
Hole in the ground.
Visions, robots playing football.
Reptiles.
What about reptiles playing football? I want to see that.
Hey, do you got anything to say about these quarterbacks that we haven't already covered? Not that we've really covered anything.
I mean, Carson Wentz, obviously Jalen Reagor comes into the town. He's a pretty good receiver. Love the dude. And you see in week 1 last year against the Redskins, bro, that Carson Wentz to Deshaun Jackson connection was beautiful. I mean, getting back to Deshaun Jackson, getting another playmaker in Reagor. I can see Carson Wentz finishing higher than Prescott. I just have him here just for the logical purposes, I guess you could say, because the chances of Carson Wentz getting hurt are higher than Dak Prescott getting hurt, I guess you could say, something like that. So, yeah, that's just me being realistic with Carson Wentz too, but definitely see him finishing top 5 quarterback. I could see him finishing, to be honest.
See, if we're talking like I'm taking Wentz over Prescott, if we're just talking the franchises in general, don't give a shit. I'm taking my guy. However, like that passing offense in Dallas is very good. And I don't really see a whole lot of reason for that to stop. And Prescott has rushing ability, so he'll continue to be a productive fantasy quarterback while choking as often as he can.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm probably being a little too hard on him. The team chokes. He just kind of chokes like
He's like choking with them. Yeah, they're all just.
yeah, like he just. I can't say that he's really like totally ended their seasons. You know, like Green Bay a few years ago. It wasn't really his fault. He did good. It was the defense that gave up that long ass completion to whoever that guy was, and then let them kick a field goal.
I agree with my
That was after
companion
they
here.
ripped the line.
Companion. All right.
Yeah.
Then I guess Daniel Jones. Let me just add a little tidbit in here.
Some knowledge.
You gotta put him over
I
Haskins.
don't
That's
mind
really all.
Jones.
I don't mind Jones either. I mean, I think he's a pretty decent quarterback, decent team he's on. Not great wide receivers, obviously, but it is what it is. But he finished last year with 2 games, I believe, 2 games above 30-plus points. And how many games did he have below 10 points? 2. But below 11 points, he had 4. So, I mean, just think about that. Below 11 points, 4 of your – what did he start, like 12 games last year?
No idea.
13 games last year. 12 games he started last year. 12 games he started. 4 games below 11 points. And 2 above 30. So it's like a pretty big boom bust with the kid. I like the kid. Bright future, I think.
I don't
Brighter
think
than Dwayne Haskins.
NFL future. I think he's not that good. But in terms of fantasy impact,
Well, yeah.
it doesn't matter if he throws 3 interceptions as long as he throws 4 touchdowns and runs 2 of them.
Jameis.
At this point, I feel like Daniel Jones is already ahead of Dwayne Haskins in a fantasy thought process. We can all agree on that. And I think he has a step up even further, in my opinion, because, I mean, there's a lot of hate towards Jason Garrett. I get it. I understand the hate. I'm an Eagles fan. I get that. But you look at Jason Garrett's history, you see Tony Romo, who wasn't he an undrafted free agent? He became relevant. Whoa. And then you got Dak Prescott. When was he drafted? Whoever would have thought a guy named Dak would be number 1 of the NFC East? And whether or not you want to give credit to Jason Garrett or anyone else, what can Garrett do with a quarterback drafted in the top 5? Come on now. You got to give a little credit. And, he's already above Dwayne Haskins. This is an overall ranking. Daniel Jones might be a legit starting option next year. I believe it.
I agree. Late round, flyer. Not even a flyer. Late round, take him as a starter. His mobility, his upside with the rushing ability.
You guys see what
You're silently clapping like a golf course guy?
I'm doing an impression.
Jason.
Oh, yeah.
35 seconds left in the game.
Daniel Jones, get out there and throw some balls.
Get out there and let's go 5-11.
Andy Dimes.
Right in, shall we?
All right, let's just go past the quarterbacks now. We're pretty much dead with them. Tight ends. What do we got here to point out? We got Alex going Blake Jarwin over Dallas Goddard.
I like it. I thought you were hating on Jarwin the other day, or is this a statement on Dallas Goddard?
So you can't step back when you average 7.7 points per game in a half PPR league. I like Dallas Goddard. In terms of overall ability, if I was starting a team, I'm taking him over Jarwin. I'm taking him over Engram if I'm starting a team. Dallas Goddard's a good player. It's just his position. Ertz is going to be the primary receiving threat from tight end. The offense didn't fare very well passing the ball out of 12 personnel last year for the Eagles. So I would have to imagine they're going to try that a little bit less just because it didn't work. The whole 2 tight ends thing sounds great in theory, especially when they're both talented. Goddard is talented, but it just didn't work that well. If they move on from Ertz next offseason, I'll have Goddard up at the top of the list. But for right now, Dallas seemingly is starting Darwin. So I'm gonna roll the dice there. Because to me, Goddard doesn't have like consistent starting ability unless Ertz goes down. And I mean, I guess you could throw Goddard in, like, I guess he has some starting ability. It's not like there's an unlimited amount of tight ends out there, but I think you could find 12 tight ends easier that would, start over him.
Yeah.
Engram at 2 is, like, pretty clear cut.
So what do you think about Blake?
All of us. I don't know. They gave him, like, a lot more money than they should have.
Yeah.
What was it, like 3 years, like $24 million or something like that?
Yeah, it was something hefty.
They give him a lot of money, so I mean, I guess if he does poorly, they can just drop him, I suppose. But yeah, that's pretty much it. He's going to be the starter. If he's got some decent run after the catch ability, like he made some plays. I'm not saying he's going to be a great tight end, but he's starting. So
I understand your hesitancy.
Take him over Goddard, who's not starting. If Ertz gets hurt, this changes. But I think it's unwise to draft a team based on, this guy gets hurt. Outside of that, I'm not ranking Redskins tight end. I'm just not doing it. I like Thaddeus Moss at LSU, but that's LSU. That's not the NFL. Jeremy Sprinkle, that's hilarious. Logan Thomas got drafted as quarterback. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. He was a quarterback. How many pounds did he put on since he entered the league? The man's like 6'6", 260 or something.
That was a fragile, typically stereotypical. A stereotypical quarterback's normally fragile.
Yeah, not so much in college anymore.
Okay.
He was a mobile quarterback too when he was in college too. So.
Yeah, he was pretty sure he was a running guy.
Virginia Tech, remember that man.
I think we all have Caden Smith 5. I like the continuity.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, love Caden Smith. Especially last year when Evan Engram went down, I picked him up. I think in a couple of redraft leagues, and he was pretty consistent at the end of the year.
He was a rookie last year, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So decent idea moving forward, especially because Engram doesn't have the cleanest bill of health.
Yeah, not even close to it.
Now,
not that you're going to roster Smith in a redraft league unless Engram goes down. But a name to keep in mind.
Yeah.
I'm thinking so like Evan Engram, we all can agree he's been unhealthy. So Caden Smith becomes a thought in our minds. But then you got the discussion of Zach Ertz and Dallas Goddard. The Eagles use 2 tight ends quite often. They value Dallas Goddard. So you said Caden Smith had a halfway decent end of season, and Dallas Goddard as well had a pretty fair half end of season ending, targeted pretty often in the red zone. So do you think we're sleeping on Smith because he has a better chance of being the one than Goddard? Because you just said you weren't liking Goddard as much because he doesn't have that option for a healthy tight end.
Goddard averaged 7.7 points, half PPR league, but he's kind of touchdown dependent because he's not like a target hog.
Okay.
And you're not rostering you could roster Goddard in a redraft league with Ertz healthy because he's decent, somewhat productive. Not insanely productive. I think Darwin easily has the potential to better him just because of opportunities, just because of the ability of his to pick up yards. I don't see Smith performing much, if at all, unless Engram is hurt.
No.
Hence why I don't know if we're sleeping on him per se.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you because I have Smith right with you guys. My thought is, would you rather have Goddard with a healthy Zach Ertz most likely all season rather than a Caden Smith? Because I know Ed has a pretty strong feelings towards Smith. Who would you rather roster
in redraft?
Situation, yeah, redraft most likely.
Are you saying Smith, assuming Engram is out? Like, are we removing Engram from the picture and saying,
no. We're just thinking
Goddard easily?
This is the thing. This is what I'm going to do in redrafts. I'm not going to waste necessarily. I guess you can say it's wasted, but like I don't want to handcuff a tight end and redraft with 5 bench spots. It's rough. Like I'm not drafting Dallas Goddard to start him either. So at that point, I'm not even sure if I want to draft Dallas Goddard. Keeping him on your team though is not a bad idea, but I just don't want to waste another bench spot for another tight end. Then again, you would have to stream a tight end 1 week when your tight end does have a bye, but I would probably take Dallas Goddard in that situation.
If you like just ignored tight end completely and found yourself like without a tight end at round 15 and Goddard was your best option, I feel like you could do worse. Because like he'll put up some points. I'm afraid they might like pass less out of the 2 tight end personnel because they ran the ball effectively out of 2 tight end out of 12 personnel. They just didn't throw the ball effectively. They brought in a lot of like offensive people in the coaching staff, so maybe they'll add some new wrinkles to that.
I think they use – I mean, I may be wrong. I don't remember correctly. I don't know any statistics off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure they probably use the 2 tight end sets a little bit more just because they had Johnny from Blockbuster playing wide receiver.
No, they used them a ton. I was just looking at it the other day. Just in terms of like passing, they passed way better out of 11 personnel than they did 12.
Understandably so, yeah. Especially when you have somebody like Carson Wentz. Like, it's a difference between like him and Jared Goff. The reason why the Rams were so successful last year, like in the 12 personnel, was because Jared Goff is not that great of a quarterback. Carson Wentz is a pretty damn good quarterback.
My thing is, with 12 personnel, you get Carson Wentz is great on the move. Like that's when he's at his best, when you get him on those rollouts and like he can throw on the run as well as any quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you think with 12 personnel, like great for play action, great for those bootleg rollouts where you get like those tight ends coming off the backside, like sneaking out into the flat or out like up into the intermediate part of the field. That's where I feel like they should be more successful. So I wonder if they're not going to like if some of the coaching additions they brought in, they're not going to like add some more of those in. I feel like they should have been more successful than they were, given that Ertz and Goddard are both like credible receiving threats.
Now, I got another question, I guess I would say. I'm obviously not an expert. I mean, like, I know football. I talk football, obviously, but I don't, like, have expert knowledge. So last year, how healthy was the Eagles' offensive line? Because I'm pretty sure Brandon Brooks got out at some point. Jason Peters, was he healthy all season or no?
Pretty much, yeah.
Now,
he missed some snaps every now and then, but for the most part.
Now, am I wrong? I believe Brooks was out due to a mental illness.
Well, I'm just talking about, like, as far as, like, were they playing their starters every single week?
But it was nothing. It wasn't a physical.
No, I think he tore something.
Did he physically? Okay.
He was out for that playoff game, I believe. Okay. Lane Johnson missed some time, too.
I was going to say that, too, yeah. And then I'm sure Jason Kelce stayed healthy all year, right? And then who was their left guard last year? Say Malu or something?
Yeah, he was. I don't think he missed much, if any, time at all.
But is he, like, good? Like, he's decent, I guess you could say, like, replacement level?
I mean, I think he's probably about an average guard.
Now, did we bring in anybody of name or of note that is going to, like, shift the offensive line? Or just, like, do you think our offensive line is going to take a step back this year?
I don't think so.
I think it depends on what you think
of
they can still be above Dillard.
Like, you think it could stay the same, like, as last year? The only reason I'm asking is because, like, usually 12 personnel, like, logically you use 12 personnel to help the run, like, offense.
Well, I mean, they ran great out of 12 personnel. Most Dallas Goddard blocks like a lineman. Like, he's basically another tackle out there.
Like, yeah, like, what I was trying to get at, I guess I could say, was, like, maybe they don't run as much as 12 last year because, I mean, their 12 usage last year could probably be an outlier due to the fact, like I said, Johnny Boy from Blockbuster was starting a wide receiver. But do you think they could still run a decent amount, like probably top 5, 12 personnel usage in the NFL? And, I mean, that would obviously keep Goddard decently relevant in fantasy, in my opinion, thinking about it. Like, there's a chance that happens is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I think he'll be, like, relevant. It's just, if I had the choice, I'd probably rather gamble on Darwin just because Goddard has, like, an artificial ceiling, given that he's not going to be the number 1 tight end.
And I also think when you discuss rostering Dallas Goddard, it's to have him as either a starter or a backup. Because you're not going to get Goddard as a handcuff for Zach Ertz because you're drafting Ertz so high. and then you've got Goddard, who's also halfway pretty high.
That was my point with I'm not going to draft Caden Smith as a handcuffed or just have him on my roster, period, because you're typically going to have Caden Smith on your roster as a handcuff. And if you're drafting Evan Engram, he's a decent round. Like, it's probably like 6th round tight end. That's a little too high for me to take another tight end later. And it's like you're skipping on a decent running back you could take in the 6th round.
I will say, in Evan Ingram's defense, I think for a 6th round tight end, I think that's a great value if he were to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's the reason why 6th round. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, I'd rather take when's Hayden Hurst going?
I was thinking the same thing. I'd rather take him like the 12th.
I got in a dynasty league.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
14. So I mean, if the ADP stays similar, I would think he's going like 11th or 12th in a regular league. I'm laughing at that. Like, compared to Engram at that point, I'm definitely taking like a receiver in round 6.
Yeah.
I would honestly probably take, like, say in a vacuum, like, say they're the same round, okay? Say Evan Engram 6th round and Hayden Hurst even like 7. Like, say Evan Engram falls to me in the 8th round. Chances slim, but say it happens. Say Hayden Hurst in the 8th round. I think I may just take Hurst over Engram. I know Ingram's proven to be a valuable fantasy option when healthy. The thing is, he's not always healthy. And like I said, I don't want to draft 2 tight ends.
I'm going to take Engram and trade him for Hurst.
I take Engram in the 8th only because, I mean, if necessary, if you have concerns towards his health, you can get Smith in the 15th, really. And because you were saying before you wouldn't take Engram in the 6th because there's valuable running backs in the 6th. But in the 8th, you're looking at a lot of nothing at the running back position at least. So that gives me some leeway of taking a backup handcuff tight end, which I would normally not do. I wouldn't be taking a handcuff tight end unless it's a deep league dynasty type of situation.
Yeah, I probably poked a hole in that little argument I had.
I definitely see where you're going with, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, like the 8th round, like you said, there's probably not going to be a lot of notable running backs or even wide receivers for that matter. But
I think there's good receivers to be had up through like round 12.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so running backs wise, I guess you could say.
Running backs are dead by like round 5. It's a shame.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
The dynasty league, at least. Not redraft.
Oh yeah, dynasty. Hell yeah. All right. Well,
I want to say what. So I'm just gonna run back to Blake Jarwin. Ed, you didn't really get to talk much on Jarwin. Do you think? I mean, I don't think he's gonna require a ton of targets. I just think that the targets he will get will be open. I think with all the receivers they've got, the running back, Elliott, even Pollard, I think Jarwin's got a good chance at getting open looks and being overlooked on defense.
Like last year with Jarwin, Dak Prescott and him, they connected. Like all their targets that they had were like super efficient. Like that connection right there was deadly, but it was limited. And that's the thing. Like it was a super small sample size, so you can't really run away with that and like apply it to this year as a full-time starter. You can't really just duplicate that. Like I don't think that's going to happen. He should take a step back. I don't think he's going to get a ton of volume, but I mean, he's a decent tight end. Like I could see his, like you said, logically, his targets will probably be open a lot more just because of the fact they have 3 deep wide receivers who are extremely talented, all 3 of them. Then Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott's rushing ability. I don't see why he wouldn't be open sometimes, but I don't know. I feel like he's kind of like he's a gamble at this point, in my opinion.
That's where my love towards Jarwin comes from. Is some of these rankings, we'll get into it. Wide receiver episode, we're going to get into it. A lot of them, it's not going to be backed up by stats, but it's going to be backed up by what is the team surrounding the players with. So is it going to give open looks, or are they going to be the vocal point of the offense? And that's where I choose to think Blake Jarwin's going to be a pretty reliable tight end, because he's going to be overlooked because there's other receivers, just like we just said. So I just wanted to touch base on Jarwin a little bit.
And I get like where Alex is coming from, having Jarwin above Goddard, but the thing with me is like, say Ertz does get hurt, okay? You're saying Goddard would probably be above Jarwin then, right? Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
absolutely. If they move on from Ertz in the offseason, which I think is a legitimate possibility given that he's about to be on the wrong side of 30 and he's about to be up for a contract extension, and if you take him out of the equation, I'm taking Goddard at 1.
Yeah.
I think Goddard's very talented. He's
I do
just
too.
in like a kind of a bad situation.
That's the thing with me personally. Like, you have to bank with Jarwin. You have to bank on efficiency with him and Dak Prescott. Like, he's not going to get the volume you expect. He's not going to be depended on. He's not going to be that like go-to player on that offense. Obviously, he's going to be like the 5th most target, probably, or maybe 4th, somewhere around there. But with Goddard, say even a starting tight end on the Eagles, they're going to be probably the 3rd most targeted. I could say maybe 3rd, 4th. Like, there's an actual debate going for the starting tight end to be the 3rd most targeted on that team.
I think it's Goddard, like I said, I've said this about 15 and a half times. I believe 7.7 half PPR points last year. I think that probably like isn't going to go up. If anything, it's going to go back down because we're going to have receivers that aren't Johnny from the store that's been closed for years.
Yeah.
Like I like Goddard. I don't like him in fantasy a whole lot. He's a safe option, but he's like not really that safe if you like winning games.
I could see Goddard being drafted halfway decently high. And I could see him being I don't either, but I could see him being dropped if things don't go the way fantasy owners are thinking they're going. I think Goddard could, and redraft, I think he could be dropped.
He's kind of
by
like
week
touchdown
4,
dependent and like being a second tight end.
As long as Ertz is there,
not
I agree.
I agree. I guess with that, we can just jump over to defenses here. Oh, he's diving over there. Be here. Okay, dive.
He dives, he's not getting back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty ugly division for defenses, in my opinion.
Same exact defenses. Let's go.
No.
So we can all.
No.
Wait, what?
Alex has the Redskins at 3 compared to me and you having the Giants at 3.
Okay.
It's reasonable.
Same exact for relevant defenses. You're not going to roster Giant or Redskins.
Like, the Eagles and Cowboys are probably hovering around, like, average, if not below average fantasy defense. Yeah. And whereas I'm not really taking the Redskins or Giants, so any argument we have about that is kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty pointless to bring it up.
We're arguing about, like, seating placement on the Titanic at that point.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Go right ahead.
All right.
By the door, yeah. It's by the lifeboats.
I'll take the raft. Scene. You guys can go have your fancy dinner. I'll have the raft.
That's kind of funny. Biggest boat at that time that got defeated by ice, frozen water.
By a big
the
ice
downfall
cube.
of
mankind. All right. Well, with that, we're done with the quarterbacks, tight ends, and defenses of the NFC East.
How are we talking about defenses? Could explain why the Eagles won.
This can be jammed out.
Can I argue about why I have the Redskins over the Giants?
I guess, let's talk about the Redskins being over the Giants.
They've invested a shit fuck ton of resources on that defensive line, and they're going to create some turnovers, I think, and maybe run a few of them back into the end zone. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, they still got Kerrigan around. Don't know who their cornerbacks are. When I looked at their depth chart, it said Troy Apke was both the starting and backup safety. That's interesting. I mean, good for him. He's multitasking, I guess. But yeah.
I know him from Madden.
I don't know any linebackers on that team who haven't been arrested for domestic violence charges.
Where did Zach Brown go? Did he go back to the Redskins or no?
Who cares? I hope he didn't.
I mean, he was a pretty decent linebacker, in my opinion, for the Eagles.
I thought he was great with the Redskins, and then he came to the Eagles.
He was trash.
I think he was trash.
He was awful. I hated him. He's like, the Vikings are. I don't know if he what he said about the
I don't know if
he talked a lot of shit about the Vikings, and the Vikings just shit on us.
Yeah.
And Zach Brown specifically. Like, they went at him. Fuck that guy. I hope you didn't hear that.
He probably did.
Shit, he's coming.
Mothman?
He's not here.
Not here yet.
Sadly.
It's too bright outside for him. Understandable.
Maybe he's out there. I just can't see him. But
So Cowboys lost their star cornerback, and guess what? The Eagles gained a star.
might I point out
cornerback.
that outside of DeMarcus Lawrence, the Cowboys' defensive line consists of a bunch of guys who you might remember from 2012 when they were good.
Name those players.
Terry Poe, Tyrone Crawford, another guy whose name I don't remember. Robert Quinn left. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he left.
Terry.
Terry Poe. Remember when he threw that touchdown with the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Remember, like that was back when he was like, not a has-been. The Giants are just terrible.
I just chose the Giants at 3, honestly, just because of the offenses. Like, that might seem like...
Thought about that as well.
But even then, like, Daniel Jones does turn the ball over a shit ton, obviously, fumble-wise last year. But, I don't know, it was kind of toss-up with these two.
Some hyper-efficient, like, destroyer of worlds offense.
Yeah.
They're better than the Redskins, which is a very, very, very low bar to clear.
Yeah.
It's like walking over a crack in the pavement. All right, now that's all I got for these defenses.
All right, that's all we got for defenses.
All I got for defenses.
I've
We
got
gotta-
a question thought up, but if anyone thinks they have a better one, you probably do.
I'll hand that off to you, Brandon. Take it real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Non-sarcastic.
Okay, that's not how running backs grab handoffs, but okay.
Am I supposed to run into the camera like that?
Yeah, it's just like that. Boom.
All right. Are you a coffee drinker, an energy drinker, or
Just
all
drink
natural drinker?
You mean
What the fuck is an all-natural drinker?
like water?
It's just strict water. You're all natural. You're drinking whatever natural.
Can I go with
I don't know.
neither? I
I
haven't
don't
had
know.
an energy drink in like years. Drink coffee occasionally. What is that, cranberry
Is that
juice?
supposed to be
It's a Red Bull.
energy drink?
what?
Okay.
A Red Bull.
Now
It is a watermelon Red Bull. It's amazing.
Glass.
What?
Look at this man, high class, drinking his Red Bull out of a glass.
I mean, I put ice in the glass because it was a little warm. I don't want to drink my watermelon Red Bull a little warm because that's just gross.
Understandable. I just think it's funny.
I drink both coffee and energy drink, so I'm not going to have to choose this. And I drink water because I'm a human being, so I'm not going to make a choice here.
Way too much sugar in them for this guy.
I mean,
Where-
sugar-free ones are decent.
Never try. I just don't really care for energy drinks. Even taste wise, I'm just not a fan. That and like I don't really feel any noticeable effects from caffeine. So,
I do.
it's not like
I
I
There's a
think the only effect I've gotten from caffeine is the addiction that I have to it because, like, I love the taste of energy drinks now. I don't even think it's just the taste. I think it's just the fact that it has caffeine. I don't feel the effects.
I don't get a caffeine buzz, nor am I addicted to it. So.
I'm gonna tell you what. Caffeine energy drinks is certainly addicting.
Super addicting.
That is
Peel away from it, and
It's a real thing.
it's
Like-
just like
We have a-
taking yourself away from cigarettes.
Do we have a question that doesn't suck? Or?
It's rough.
I thought that was a good question.
Personally,
I mean, sometimes I go to Wawa and I just give me that monster real quick. You know what I'm saying? I just snap it up.
Yeah.
I wake up sometimes. I'm like, give me that coffee. You know, it's like it's just.
I don't have my morning cup of coffee. I get a headache.
Again, see, I'm a functioning human being
Oh, okay.
who doesn't run into these problems. So, watch
What
your
was-
caffeine.
What was your answer to the whole if you were stuck on an island thing?
What?
What does
You
that have to
said
do with
you'd
me
go
not
out
being
in the-
addicted to caffeine?
Well, it doesn't really.
Okay, might I point out, you
Oh man.
guys don't have caffeine,
fuck.
so you guys are going to be struggling more than I am. Can we revisit that question?
Well, no, because
No.
Brandon
yeah,
will
you're right.
because he won't have any caffeine. He'll be
I won't die because
He's standing out there in the
I have-
ocean, like screaming.
Say there's cocoa beans. Oh shit, I spitted. Say there's cocoa beans. You're not gonna eat those cocoa beans. They're gonna give us they're gonna make us feel alive again. Like they're just gonna make you feel like shit.
Food, if it's there, if there's food, I'm eating it. Why wouldn't I eat it?
You're right. That was a tweak on my part. Well, because you're already dead. Because you said you would kill yourself.
that was his answer.
Fair.
So
I mean, sometimes you got to know when you're beat.
the caffeine drinkers were willing to fight it out.
Who
So does
sang
that
that
make
song?
caffeine drinkers more
Superior?
superior?
Are we superior to the regular person?
Your second day on the island with a throbbing headache, and I'm fine.
I'll tell you what, I didn't need to be on an island when I was detaching myself from those energy drinks. It was rough.
I never had that to begin with. So.
But you're lucky.
All right. Anybody who's out there who drinks caffeine, we love you.
Yeah.
People who drink just water, you're boring.
Alex loves you, but we don't. Ben and I hate you.
We love coffee. We love energy drinks, and we love you, fellas and fellows. So that's all we got for the NFC East Part 1 episode. Part 2 is coming your way in a few days, probably the next day. So stick around, show love, like, comment, subscribe, share, and be safe. Peace.
Later on. Before we hop on to the next one, I gotta take a Waz. Pretty.
I don't know what that is, but I don't want it going on in my bathroom.